Hello. Yeah, just something that was on my mind again. Getting older. I was thinking of all the cool guys I've known, friends that I used to have in the years past. I mean, I used to be somewhat popular when I was younger and have friends that thought I was pretty cool, and I'm talking, up to about age 40 or so. About more like in my teens and 20s for the most part when it comes to cool guys. And I start thinking of them one by one, and they're all dead. And some of them died quite young. And it seems to be a pattern that I saw. And I don't think they were bad guys or crazy, but they're all gone. And it's like, man, cool guys die. And a couple of them, one of them was my friend Brian. He was pretty cool. People kind of looked up to him, but he was killed when he was 18, quite suddenly. And I've covered him, and he was killed instantly, pretty much decapitated, from what I heard. And I saw him in heaven, and I've talked about that. He spoke to me, and told me quite a bit about my life to come, which all came true. So cool guys do go to heaven. At least some of them do. And I remember the king and queen, the homecoming king and queen in my high school years. Both their parents were teachers. They were very popular. Costello was the last name of the guy, and I forget the woman's name, his girlfriend. And they were on a snowmobile on the lake, Sodas Bay, on Sodas Point. It's frozen over, and people zip around on snowmobiles on the ice. And apparently they caught a telephone pole, and where the cable comes down to hold them in place. And they caught that, and it took both their heads off, both of them. They both died instantly. And they were too cool, the coolest couple in school. And I think of my good friend Ed Saar. My son Kyle's middle name is named after him. Super cool. Do you remember how many of you are old enough to remember cool, when cool was cool? When cool was cool. And it didn't mean being phony, and for me it didn't mean being a jock, really good at sports in school, and I'm talking in teenage years, cool. It just meant being smooth, reliable, decent, not the sort of guy that's going to try to get your girlfriend. That's not cool. Not a bully. That's not cool. But a guy that will stand up for himself or someone else, that's cool. Being a Christian is cool. They always seem to be pretty laid back with their kind of clothing styles, but in a cool way. Never trashy clothes, but they weren't rich either. A couple of my friends were fairly well off. Parents were doctors. They were cool. Well, Ed Saar was really super cool. Good sense of humor, popular guy. I don't think he had any enemies. Well, I know I came home from the Army. I think he must have been about 20 years old at the time. And this ain't cool. I had to pass him on a double. That wasn't cool. Or was it? Maybe that was cool. I did what I had to do. I'm going to work. Working is ultimately cool, though it doesn't feel too cool. Well, I came home from leave, and I just read in the paper that Ed Saar was found in Bangkok, Thailand, in his hotel room, and he'd been stabbed about 50 times, and there was money sprinkled all over him, American dollars. So who knows what that was about? I have no idea what he'd gotten himself involved with. But he's dead. I have so many friends that were cool. They're all gone. In the Army, my friend Greg Buchanan, Sergeant Buck, suddenly got himself killed. Real laid back. He wasn't laid back. He was a kind of a funny guy, really. Very cocky, but funny. Worked out at the gym a lot. He was a good friend. A penchant for trouble. Loved being a paratrooper. I had a friend, I forgot his name, it's been so many years, but when I was about 27 in the service, and this guy was big into medieval reenactment, and he was super laid back, a cool guy, just the kind of guy that nobody gave him any problems, man. It's just super smooth, you know, professional, got his stuff done. You know, cool guys always had their act together, but they did it in a way that it seemed effortlessly. You know, they never were rattled. You never saw them disheveled or out of it. Yeah, this guy was a good friend of mine, and I used to think he had his act together really well. He got into a medieval reenactment. I'm talking, he organized a bunch of guys and some women that would do medieval reenactments, and they had suits of armor, and the women would dress up like wenches, and they were all in their like 20s and 30s, and they used to travel around in vans on their time off and put on shows, and I went with them. I checked them out a few times, and they always had a great time. And one day he got hit by a car on his bicycle, and I didn't see him for a while. He got out of the hospital, and all I know is he told me he was just a shadow of himself. But he told me what had happened to him, and I don't remember what it was. He said it was going to kill him, and they couldn't do anything about it. And I didn't believe it. It didn't seem possible. But he wasted away. I don't remember what happened, but he wasted away to where, you know, he was like 27. And he looked like, you know, a cancer patient in their last days when I saw him. And then he was gone. And I knew a cool woman, a Jewish woman, friends of mine. They're Christian Jews. She was in Queens, New York. Very attractive woman. Very popular. Very successful. You know, involved in, I think she was doing stocks. She had a penthouse. And she died of bulimia, and she didn't even turn 30, and that was so sad. That was so sad. We were kind of set up, you know, to be an item, but she died. Never happened. And I had a friend, Doyle. That was his last name, but I always called him Doyle, and he called me Shank. And he was a pretty cool guy. He was probably in his late 20s. I knew him in the Army for a while, and he was gone. And I didn't know what happened to him. But he had some kind of illness. And I remember he always used to say he was Welsh, that his parents were from Wales, which was cool, I guess. And he liked to have his beers, and was just an all-around decent guy. Not the sort of guy you could count on. Not the sort of guy that would do underhanded things to you or anybody else. An honest man. An honest man. A Christian man. And he died. I don't remember what happened to him. But he died. It didn't take him long either. Cool guys. My brother Zach's a cool guy. And he died. But he died recently in his early 60s. Died a few months ago. But he was considered a cool guy by a lot of people. He was very popular, and he was looked up to as well in his profession. He was very good at whatever he did. Very good. Above average. And cool women. My girlfriend Jen was looked up to quite a bit by a lot of people, really. She was very selective with who she associated with. She's gone. There's a lot of cool people that have gone before us. know, there was a point to this. I mean, when I say they were cool, they weren't phony. I want to make that clear. None of these people were phony. They weren't plastic. They were just confident, honest, reliable, smooth, had their act together, somewhat stylish, maybe somewhat attractive, average or better. Not all of them, I don't know. I really never thought about that. People you could rely on that were good for a laugh, and they'd laugh at your jokes. Nothing phony at all. I mean, some people say to live in life, to learn to be cool when you get older, is to be yourself and not care what other people think about you. Well, these people knew this when they were younger. There was absolutely nothing phony, superficial. They weren't looking for status. They weren't trying to be cool. And they're gone. And I think some people have thought I was cool here and there in my life, I will say. I'm still chugging on by the grace of God. But I was just, man, it's just getting old. You look back at the men and women you've known younger, when I was younger, up to recent. Some really good people have died. All of them, almost all of them I've known, almost all of them. Quite a few of them before they were even 30. Simone was super cool. She died at the same time Jen did, at the same age, barely over 40. And she was very, very highly regarded and very real, authentic, and confident, attractive, intelligent, stylish, reliable. She's gone. I don't know, I just thought of that. I forgot there was a point to this I was going to make, but I didn't write it down. I don't know what it was. There's no formula in life. There's no certain set way that you can be or look. Bad guy, good guy, gonna shield you from the inevitable. But the people I brought up, and my buddy Tim Ferber, he was killed when he was 19, and he was super cool. Tall, thin, red-headed guy, long red hair, and a long red beard. Good friend of mine. Was riding his motorcycle to work on his farm and came around the corner of a row of apple trees just as his father was coming around the corner on a tractor with the forks up, and he was impaled right through the chest by the forks on the tractor that his father was driving. He's gone. He was dead before he was even 20. He was probably one of the coolest guys I think I can even remember. My friend McCoy, Don McCoy, super cool, but in a kind of a crazy way. It was almost predictable with him though, but he was definitely not trying to be cool, just very confident in his own skin. He was always known to do crazy things, stunts, diving off lighthouse, climb to the top of a lighthouse and dive off it into the ocean or to the lake, Lake Ontario, stuff like that. Well, he got killed doing something crazy. He went back to West Virginia where his family was at. Somebody told me he got killed doing crazy stuff. And he was probably only 21, a long time ago, when I was 21. We were good friends, Don and I. So that's life. Live it out, enjoy it. Whether you're cool, popular, whether you're unpopular, I don't know what my point was to this. I was just thinking about this the past few days, about all these super cool friends I used to have. And I miss them. I guess I look back and I miss their company. And I hope that we'll all be hanging out again in a super cool place that our Lord Jesus walks. And I really mean it when I say this. And I want to say that you can wish whatever you want to wish for heaven. Don't try to put God in some kind of constraints that isn't going to happen. God will give you, I don't wish for whatever you want and ask for whatever you want with God, so long as you're not asking for something sinful. But, don't let anybody tell you different. I hope I meet all these people. We all are young again together in a better place. I miss them, all of them. I'm that kind of friend. And not one of these people I'm talking about is the type of person, man or woman, and there's a lot of cool women that are gone. Connie Watson, she was cool, got killed when she was 18. I could go on and on. None of them were the type of people. Andrea St. Pierre was super cool. I really liked her a lot. She got killed, hit and run, when she was 17. None of them were the type of people that would betray you, stab you in the back in any way. Just down to earth, good people. All right. Stay cool. Stay cool. Right up to when the angels come and pick you up and take you to Jesus. That'll be really cool. So keep cool, people. Keep it real. Take care. God bless.